like to ground. So whether you're on your back or whether you're seated, let's arrive in this space this morning. We've got a few different time zones represented. We've got 3. It's moving from west to east today. So wherever you're at in your day, just find yourself here at this moment. We're not even noticing the breath right now. We're just going to arrive in our spaces. And then once you feel as though you're seated or you're on your back or you're where you want to be, then go ahead and drop into your breath. Yeah, you can let out a sigh. Or maybe you inhale and pause with that inhale and then let it go and then begin again. If you're on your back, maybe noticing the breath. Feel the back body and the back of the body press on the floor. If you're seated, maybe notice the chest and the back expand away from one another. Maybe notice the chest expanding outward. Imagine you're underneath those ribs was a helium balloon. Maybe it's the shape of a football for Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe it's the shape of a heart, maybe it's round. But imagine that balloon expands in all directions and then floats back in. And then feel it expand. And let it go. Today's practice, I'm going to open up some space for us to bring in a different perspective. So we're going to be doing some reverse tabletop, reverse plank, some dandasana. Giving us kind of a different perspective on some shapes that we do so often in class. I know many of you, if not all of you, enjoy walking outdoors, hiking, running. And do you ever notice that sometimes if you do an out and back route that when you turn around and come back, it's like, oh, is this the right way? Or sometimes you turn around in a new place and you don't know if you're going the right way because it looks so different when we turn around than when we went out. So inviting in that newness of perspective in our morning, in our practice, maybe throughout the weekend. Your next exhale, let it be a long extended exhale as if you're blowing out through a straw really softly, slowly. And then an inhale, slowly, as if you were sipping in through a straw. Pause. And then one last slow, steady exhale. And let's begin with the sound of a single Om collectively joining maybe vibrations, voices, energies for our practice today. Drawing a breath in, letting it go, and then we'll inhale for Om. Om. And now let's gently make our way to our backs if you're not there already. When you get to your back, make sure you have a block handy that you can grab at a moment's notice. And on your back, maybe bringing your feet mat distance apart. I'm kind of lifting up those hips and feeling the entire back body on the ground. Let's just drop our knees to one side. So maybe if you drop to the left, that right knee is kind of close to that right or that left foot. And then exhale, send them over to the other side, over to the right, that left knee maybe near that right foot. That's kind of the distance of the feet. And as we drop those knees over, let's go over to the left and we'll pause for a couple of breaths. Maybe you bring that left foot on the outside of that right leg. Just a little weight on that leg to open up the side of the hip. And then bring that foot off the leg, go over to the right, and maybe do the same thing, that right foot coming on top of that left leg. There's no really reason to do that if it doesn't feel good. No warp zone to enlightenment with that. It's just if it feels good in your body. Just breathe. And release that foot. Bring our knees back to the sky, feet on the floor. And then lift those hips, ground that sacrum area, the low back. Let's bring our arms up to the sky, kind of those zombie arms. Reach the fingertips up. Maybe you notice the shoulder blades move a little bit. And now drop those hands down so the shoulder blades come on the floor, back to the shoulders on the floor. And now let those arms float above the head. Maybe noticing the scapula open a little. And now kind of drawing those knees in, send those legs to the sky. So the arms are overhead, back to the hands on the floor, feet parallel with the ceiling. Now point the toes towards the sky. And then exhale, flex the feet towards the face. Maybe you inhale to point, and then exhale, flex. And now point the toes, and now bring those arms up to fingertips reach to the sky in the same direction as the toes. Maybe you reach, and feel those shoulder blades come off the ground. And now flex the feet towards the face, reaching for those toes as if you could grab them. And then point the toes, keep those arms extended. Now flex the feet. And now point the toes. Now exhale, grab the shins, hug knees into the chest. Let's rock side to side, massaging our low back just a little bit. Maybe you rock quickly side to side. Maybe you go nice and slowly. And now bring yourself to stillness. Extend that left leg long, keeping that right knee hugged in. If you have a block handy, bring it to the left side so you can cross that right knee over the left. Maybe that right knee finds its home on that block, or maybe it comes to the ground. Just kind of feeling into that hip, feeling into the body. Maybe that right shoulder is close to the floor. Maybe it's hovering, or maybe it's completely stacked over the left one and your right arm is overhead. Maybe that arm is behind you like a T. Just gently easing into this twist, easing into the breath and some movement. Breathing in and out. It's really nice to see some of you in completely different shapes, just knowing that it's your practice and it's your body and it's your energy that you're tuning into today. On an exhale, let's kind of roll over onto the back or bring that right hip to the ground. That right knee is kind of hugged in, so maybe draw it in nice and close. And now extend the right leg to sky, then draw the left knee to meet the right, and then point and flex both feet to the sky, both legs are long. And then we'll exhale to lower that right knee and draw the left leg in. Maybe you move the block to the other side if you found it helpful before, and then we'll twist and drop that left knee across the body over to the right side of the mat. And then maybe finding ourselves settling here. any direction with that left arm. Maybe it feels nice to reach it overhead or out like a T, or maybe just to reach over to the right even. Just breathe into yourself. And then we'll exhale to bring that arm maybe to the side to give us some support as we draw that left knee off the block. Bring it all back to center. Now lower the left foot this time. Bring the right foot to the ground. Let's drop our knees out to the side. Maybe the soles of the feet come together. A little reclined butterfly. Maybe you have a hand on the heart and the chest. Maybe your arms are up overhead. Drawing the breath in, letting it go. Draw the breath in. Speaking of Star Wars, maybe you make a sound when you exhale. Maybe you begin to layer your Ujjayi breath, that Darth Vader breath. Warming the body with the breath. Now your next exhale, bring feet to the floor, knees to the sky. We're gonna set up for bridge pose. So maybe you know exactly where you like your feet for that. If they're further away, you're gonna feel more in those hamstrings. If the feet are closer, you might not feel it so much in the backs of those legs. So find your feet, let them be where they feel right for you. And on an exhale, press the feet down and those glutes through the hips as you lift those hips to the sky. And then we'll inhale to lower. We'll just move with the breath, one breath per movement. So exhale up, inhale down, exhale up. Now inhale down. And now move at your own pace. Maybe you exhale, hips to the sky, and you pause, lifting arms up overhead. Or maybe you bring those fists underneath that low back and pause in supported bridge. Maybe you bring that block for a supported bridge. Maybe you continue to flow. We'll be here for about 5-7 breaths. So however you want to offer those breaths to your practice today, go ahead and move with the breath, be with the breath. You know where those feels are today. So allow that breath to support you. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then on your next exhale, let's find ourselves flat on the ground. So little shavasana, checking in, letting the energy neutralize and flow, that prana moving without limitation. Let the breath go. Now maybe we press our right heel or foot to the ground and roll over to the left side, press up. Bring the hands maybe behind us, feet to the floor, sits bones ground. And then maybe we bring hands to the shins, just below those knees, roll the shoulders back. And let's just dip the chin kind of round the back. And if you're still making your way there, get there in your own time, moving through maybe some kind of seated cat-cows. Dropping that chin to the chest, rounding the spine. And sometimes I like bring my elbows out and kind of like flex the shoulders a little. So if that feels good, you can do that. Or just keep those shoulders in. And some movement in the spine. And now one more time to shine the heart to the sky. And then the chin to the chest. And then let's meet with the head lifted, heart high, right? And then maybe we begin to pick one heel off the ground as we lean back. And then maybe another. You can let go of the hands off the legs, or maybe they're behind the thighs. Maybe the feet are still down, but let's kind of float our boats, meeting together in the harbor. Palms can come off the legs, maybe the palms shine towards one another. Maybe you find a mudra with your hands. But let's maybe keep the back flat, heart lifted, shoulders back, breathe in. And maybe the legs straighten and maybe they stay bent. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. It's kind of warming up that torso. And when you're ready, lower the feet down all the way. Bring the hands behind the back, behind those sits bones. Fingers can point towards the glutes, or maybe they point to the side of the mat. Press the feet down. Let's find our reverse tabletop. And sometimes when I come into this, I end up having to shimmy my hands around a little bit. So give yourself that time to find the right spot for your hands that feel good for your range of motion in the shoulders. And if reverse tabletop isn't for you, then maybe just come into that high kneel position and send the hips forward. Engaging the core and the side body as you send the hips forward and stand tall through the shoulders. Otherwise, we've got that reverse tabletop. Just breathe in and out as the glutes drive the hips up to sky. If you're in a high kneel, the glutes drive the hips forward. Maybe drop that head back. And maybe you rock side to side, or maybe you're static. We hear 2 more breaths. In and out. And now exhale, lower down the glutes, the sits bones, send the legs nice and long. If in your high kneel, come down to a seated position with legs long in front, roll shoulders up, back and down, hands to the side. Maybe they hover, maybe they touch the ground. Come into our dandasana, flexing the feet, maybe heels lift. Maybe we gaze past those big toes. Let's breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Let's inhale, bring our arms up above the head. The feet are still flexed. Now exhale, sweep the hands to the side. We walk them back. Keep those legs flexed. Now lower the legs down. Bring the feet to the floor. Let's exhale, press up, reverse tabletop. Or your high kneel. Let the glutes drive the hips to the sky. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now let's exhale, lower the hips, but don't let them touch the ground. Let's walk our feet forward, point the toes, come into reverse plank. If you'd like, you can come into a plank pose if this isn't for your shoulders. Be the gaze towards the sky, breathe in, breathe out. Strong back body, strong tops of the legs, breathe in. Exhale, lower down. Glutes come down, flex the feet towards the face, but relax through the legs. Bring the hands on top of the thighs. And we'll just breathe here. Nothing's really that active as far as flexing. We're just gonna sit, feel the strength in the side body, breathe in. And now let's lift those heels off the ground, bring the hands to the side, dandasana. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Exhale, lower the heels. Now let's roll over to the left, the log roll over to tabletop. And when you get to tabletop, knees underneath the hips, let's walk our hands forward and exhale down to puppy pose, Anahadasana. When you get there, maybe you have the forehead on the ground and you rock it side to side. Compress the hands into the floor and activate through the armpits. I know you guys all love to activate your armpits, so if you want to do that today, press down. Active armpits are going to stretch it out. Let's breathe in. And then exhale, bring the hands under the shoulders, find the tabletop. Now maybe we swing the hips to the side and glance over the shoulder and look at those hips. And over to the other side. Go as quickly or as slowly as you want. Maybe you move with the breath. Maybe you move quicker than the breath. Move that spine in another direction. Now one more inhale, and one more exhale. And then find some stillness in tabletop. And then we'll step the right foot between the hands.
Curl the toes of the left foot under, and then step the left foot forward. Let's bring the feet maybe hip distance, and we'll fold in our Uttanasana. If you have a block handy, maybe you come into a Ardha Uttanasana, pressing into the block to feel a little bit of response in that back. Otherwise, maybe you grab opposite elbows and hang in a full forward fold. Let's inhale. And then exhale, release the hand. Maybe you find a half forward fold. Bring the left hand to the right thigh. Bend or straighten the left leg as much as you need to and reach the right arm to sky. Just a gentle twist, maybe moving that hand as if you were opening and closing a doorknob. And that right hand, bring the shoulder open. And then exhale, bring everything back under center, bend the knees. Let's rise up. And then we'll exhale, fold it forward, bending knees, hands under the heart. Half lift, bring that right hand to the left thigh or to that shin on the left leg. Bring the left arm to sky, a little twist. And then maybe open and close that doorknob with that left hand. Just getting some motion in the shoulders. Breathing. And then exhale, bring the hands under the heart. Maybe grab opposite elbows and now bend the knees, release the hands, rise up all the way. And then exhale, hands to the side of the heart, meeting in our Tadasana. Offering any movements in the neck, shoulders, hips, feet. It might be nice as we come to our first standing pose today. Grounding through the feet, feeling the breath in the body. Rising up, inviting in a new perspective. Let's bend the knees, reach the arms to sky. Exhale, fold it forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Now inhale, step the left foot back and the right, coming into downward facing dog. We're here for 3 breaths. So whatever you like to do in your downward facing dog as you start your practice, you bend the knees one at a time, maybe you're bending arms, stretching out that spine, letting the head be heavy. One more breath here. And then inhale, look up with the hands. Let's step the right foot forward, lower that left knee down. Either hover over that thigh or maybe you rise up to meet the world with the hands. Or you can bow over that leg. It's completely up to you. One more breath. Now exhale, curl the left toes under, plant the hands, step the right foot back. Here's a plank pose. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's exhale, lower down, chaturanga dandasana. Then inhale to upward facing dog, or maybe you find cobra. Maybe lengthen through the right leg. So pick that right foot up, lengthen through the toes, lower it down. Lift the left leg up, lengthen through the toes, lower it down. And voila. Do you feel a little stretch in the front of the legs? Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Letting the breath out, and then inviting more breath in. Exhale, sigh. Inhale, bend up with the hands, step the left foot forward, lower the right knee down. Hover over that thigh, or maybe you rise up. Maybe relaxing the eyes and the face. The shoulders follow. Inhale. Exhale, frame that foot, curl the right toes under, step the left foot back. Let's find our plank pose again, Palakasana. Breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Now let's lower down the knees. Our chest and our chin come next. Inhale, uplifting the heart. Let's hover the hands. And now lift through the right leg and extend the toes. Feel the right leg come nice and long. Same thing with the left. Lift the leg up and reach with the toes. Lower it down. And now exhale, plant the hands. Maybe lifting up to full cobra. As if you had a backpack on, the shoulders are down. Elbows maybe kind of dangle down. Now curl your toes under. Reach back to child's pose. Stretching out the back. Maybe you tense the fingers and grip that mat. And then you open up through the armpits. Active armpits. Exhale. And let's inhale, float up to tabletop. From tabletop, let's curl the toes under, hover the knees, just for a breath or two. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale. Now exhale, lift up and back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Maybe you bring the hands forward a little bit, or the feet back, finding your expression that works for your body. Let's breathe in. Exhale, plant that left hand, plant the feet, reach the right hand towards that left thigh or that left shin. Maybe you glance underneath the left armpit or over towards the right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring that right hand forward. Now rock to plank. Now come onto the side of that right foot. Reach the left hand to sky, Vashisthasana. You can stack the feet, or maybe the feet are one in front of another. Finding your variation that works for your body today. Let's breathe in. Let's breathe out. Exhale, bring that left hand down. Lower the knees down to tabletop. Adjust those hands so they feel just right so you can curl the toes, cover the knees. Breathe in and breathe out. Another breath in, another breath out. And then exhale up to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathing in and out. Exhale. Plant the right hand, plant the feet. Reach that left hand to that right shin or maybe to the right thigh. If you pull that hand against the leg and press the leg into the hand, you might notice some response in the back of the body. Breathe in. Exhale. Now inhale, plant that hand back in front and roll up to your plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, rock over to the side of that left foot. Left hand plants. The right foot can come down or maybe it stacks. And then bring that weight into the back of that left shoulder, reaching for sky, maybe overhead. Vashisthasana. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhale, plant that right hand. Come to plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And now we'll lower the knees on an exhale. Walk the hands forward. Press down, Anahatasana, puppy pose. Maybe it's more of a passive puppy pose. You lower those forearms, lower the elbows. Maybe the hands are in prayer as you kind of rest the forehead, rest the arms. Or if you want to activate those armpits, then press those hands into the floor. Forearms lift. And reach and almost kind of pull, press that mat down and pull it towards the knees for a more active puppy. It's completely up to you. Breathe in and out. Draw the breath in. Exhale. If the hands aren't lowered, lower them down. Then look up at the hands and draw those hands underneath your shoulders. And now let's exhale to drop those hips over to the left. And then when you get those hips down, let's come into our reverse tabletop, planting, kind of twisting around like a break dancer, planting feet, planting hands to face the glutes or the side of the mat. Exhale, press those hips to sky. And if that's not in your practice, if that doesn't feel good on your shoulders, then come to that high kneel and send those hips forward. And almost retracting, bringing those shoulder blades to pinch together. 2 more breaths here, reverse tabletop, guys. Breathe in. Exhale. 1 more breath in. And now exhale, lower those hips as we lengthen that right leg and then lengthen the left, point the toes, lift through the hips. If you'd like, you can come into regular plank. Or you can come into bridge pose if you'd rather do that. Nice and long to the front of the body. Breathe in. Exhale, sigh. 1 more breath in. Now exhale, lower those hips, lower the backs of the legs to the ground. Stack the shoulders over the hips. Inhale, bring the arms to sky. If you turn those doorknobs overhead, opening up the shoulders again. Yep. And then bring the hands to the side. Maybe your hands are in prayer. Maybe they press on the floor beside you. Flex the feet. Maybe the heels lift off the ground. Active tops of the legs, dandasana. Breathe in and out. Maybe close the eyes here and notice the rate of your heartbeat. Notice the rate of your breath. Exhale. Now let's lower down the heels. Let's log roll over to the right this time. Come into our tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And now from here, on a nice deep inhale, we're going to extend that right leg long. With that right leg long, maybe the heels in line with the hip, or maybe it's a little higher. So maybe notice if you feel it in your glutes or your back. Find that place that's right for you. And let's point and flex the feet here. Just pointing and flexing with that leg extended. The side body, the torso active. And now let's flex the foot and pause. And then inhale to extend that left hand. Adjusting if we need to move that left knee maybe out to the side or more to the middle to find that balance. Breathe in. And now exhale, bring the left hand down. And then bring the right knee in. And then we'll do that on the other side. Maybe you sway the hips out. And then we'll inhale, extend through that left leg. And then let's point and flex the feet, bringing that awareness to the top of the foot. And maybe the top of that leg, the quad, that is so active in their dandasana. And now let's flex the foot. And then ground that left hand as we reach the right arm up. Find some stillness here. Dandasana, or bird dog. And that same action in the leg as dandasana. Breathe in. Exhale, lower that right hand, lower that knee. And let's bring the knees nice and wide. Sit back in child's pose. Let the backs of the legs rest. If child's pose doesn't feel that great for you, then come into your puppy pose. Breathe in and out. On your next out breath, let's look up at the hands and then roll forward. Bring the knees in so they're kind of in tabletop. And then from there, we'll step the right knee forward. Curl the toes of the left foot under, step the left foot forward. And then bend the knees, let's rise up to stand. Exhale, floating the hands down to the side. Good. Nice, take any wiggles that might feel nice. Maybe sway side to side. You have your strap, get your strap handy. Have that block handy. Just the corner, the left corner of the mat. And now let's bring hands to our hips, roll the shoulders up, back, and down, relaxing those shoulder blades. Ground that left foot, step the right foot back, then pivot that heel down so the toes face the long edge. Yeah. And we're just going to do a little movement here as we inhale to bring the arms to lengthen from short edge to short edge. Yeah. And now let's inhale, straighten, and float the hands together. And then we'll exhale, bend. And go ahead and do that at your own pace, pausing at the top for a couple breaths, or moving breath with movement, one breath and then the other. Just gonna warm up the hip a little bit. Maybe 2 more breaths, whether you're moving or whether you're pausing in stillness. And then let's meet with that front knee bent and the fingertips extending from short edge to short edge. Yeah, nice guys, inhale. Let's exhale, bring that left hand on the inside of that thigh. It doesn't have to reach down way to the floor. Let's just hover on the inside of that leg and reach the right arm to the sky. And as Jonathan would say, imagine you have a friend that has your hand and is pulling your hand up. So feel your ribs open and reach for the sky as we extend and expand in the chest. Breathe in. And now let's exhale, come back into Virabhadrasana 2, glancing over those front fingers. Breathe in. Exhale, bring hands to the hips and pivot that left foot towards the long edge. Let's bend our knees just a little bit. Maybe bring the heels or the toes off, kind of getting a little bit of movement. This is always fun, right? Yeah. All right, now let's bring our legs wide again. And similarly to what we did in our downward facing dog, we're gonna inhale, reach our arms out and reach that right hand towards that left thigh as we send the right shoulder kind of towards the ground, the left arm up. So we're kind of crossing the body, maybe that left shin with the right hand. And then maybe that left hand turns a doorknob in the sky. Little stairway to heaven and you're at the door. And your next inhale, bend the knees and we'll rise up to our extended mountain pose. Yeah, bring hands to hips. Maybe you just like shake it out a little bit. Coming down to heels, lifting toes. Again, you kind of know what your body needs because all of our bodies react and respond in different ways. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, arms come out like a T. Bend the knees a lot or a little, and then reach that left hand to the right thigh or the right shin, and that right arm reaches up. Maybe this time we give some notice to shifting the weight kind of in the balls of the feet, and then turn that doorknob with that right hand. We're breathing, we're moving, we're existing here. On your exhale, lower that right hand down, let the left hand come under the heart. Let's bend our knees. And before we come into our warrior 2 on the other side, we heel toe the feet in and drop those hips into Malasana. Now, if Malasana is not in your practice, then you come into maybe a little sumo with the toes out. Maybe you come into a full goddess. Okay, we're just opening the hips. We're gonna be here for 10 breaths. So if you're in goddess or sumo and you need to offer a break, do that. If you're in Malasana and you want to drop into your crow, then this is a really nice time to do that. Whatever your practice calls for. Moving with mindfulness, and there's no rush. There's nowhere we need to be, nothing we really need to do even. Wherever you're at, let's be here for 3. Sinking in for 2. And 1. And now we'll inhale to slowly come to stand. Rising up with awareness. Pausing at the top. Dropping those hands down. Stepping the feet nice and wide again. And then when you're ready, let's turn the right foot towards the short edge. And then we'll exhale to sink into a bent leg. And give yourself some time to get there, adjusting that left foot as you need to. And then when you're ready, open up those arms, reach short edge to short edge. Let's glance over the right hand. Inhale and exhale. Now let's inhale, bend and bring the palms, or straighten and bring the palms together. Then we'll exhale to bend and extend. You're moving at your own pace, your own breath, just bending and extending, opening up through the hips again. Bringing that Darth Vader breath in. That's in your practice, your Ujjayi breathing. And one more breath, meeting with a bent knee and extended arms. Yes, breathe in. Now exhale, drop that right hand down. So maybe it's perpendicular with that mat, and then the left hand reaches for sky. You almost reach that doorknob, reach up with that left hand, but you're reaching down with the right, extending and expanding through the chest. Now maybe turn that doorknob with that left hand. You're like, it's not a doorknob on my door, it's a push-pull. So maybe you stand still. It's totally your choice. Let's exhale back to Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale when you get there. Now bring those hands to the hips again. Pivot that right foot towards the long edge. Let's point those toes towards the corner now. Heels come in, maybe you heel toe in a little bit. We're gonna drop those hips and find our goddess. Now from here, let's just kind of exhale over to the left, straighten that right leg. And then bend that right knee, sink down, and then lean over to the right and straighten that left just a little. And then down, and then straighten the right, bending to the left, and then drop back down to goddess, and then lean over to the right just a little, straighten that left leg, press to the heel, whew. And then drop to goddess, tuck that pelvis, inhale, arms come out. Yes, and now exhale, hinge, and bring that left hand perpendicular with the mat again, right arm reaching for that doorknob. Maybe you turn the doorknob, maybe you stand at the door. Breathe in. Exhale, back out like a T again. Maybe you squat a little shallower, or maybe you come right back into that goddess squat. And then we'll exhale, bring that right hand perpendicular with that mat. Reach for the door. And then maybe you turn the knob, and maybe you stand at the door. Breathe in. And now let's exhale. Bring the arms out like a T, straighten the legs, guys. Let it go. Exhale, let those arms come down. Hallelujah. Heel toe those feet in. As we do, stacking the joints. And then maybe we hula hoop those hips. Usually this is our Thursday 12 o'clock move. But if you want to hula hoop those hips out, let's do it. And now let's exhale to step to the front of our mat. Let's grab our strap. Let's put our block at the left corner. We're going to just do something kind of new for this brain today, this different perspective. So with your strap, maybe stand towards the long edge of your mat. Just some way, I'm going to show you where we're going. We're going to lengthen through the leg. So we're going to bring it in front. And we're going to go step by step. We're going to bring it out to the side. And then we're just going to slowly lower that foot. Yes, so let's bring the block towards the side of the mat where the strap is. Because we're going to go from here. We're going to lower, bend the knee, come into a half moon. Bend, lower, come back up, lift the strap. Y'all see? So however, that's going to work. So the block is on the straps, foot strap side, okay? But we're going to bring our foot in front first. So we're going to go step by step. So we're going to ground the feet, left foot ground. Now bend that right knee. And if you don't have a strap, it's okay. We can go strapless. Bring the foot in front. And now press the ball of it maybe into that strap, pull on the strap. And then when you're ready, we'll just bring the leg out to the side. Now the leg doesn't have to be like really high, right? It can be down. Opening up the hips again. Press through that strap. Maybe we bring the left arm out. So you might notice that we're kind of in a standing half moon here. So when you're ready with that strapped foot, kind of bend that knee, keep it out to the side. Lower, you're kind of shift the weight over to the right foot, that strapped foot. Lower that foot down, the standing foot is bending. Bend that strapped leg, and then reach for that block. And lift that left foot to sky, rising into your Ardha Chandrasana. So it's kind of like a rocking. from a standing half moon to a more traditional half moon. So now let's bend that right leg, lower that left foot down, find that strap, bring the left arm up, feet are grounded, and then maybe we ground that left foot and reach that right foot up again, pressing through the strap. So now that we maybe kind of get the hang of it, kind of go at your own. So the left foot grounds, right foot presses into that strap, the left arm reaches out. And now bend that left knee as we kind of cartwheel, that right foot comes down, bend that right knee, the left leg starts to straighten as we lean towards the block, towards that strap side, hand comes to the block. And then we lift off into our Ardha Chandrasana. Bend that right knee. Don't worry about the strap this time. We're going to come back to stand. Lower that left knee down, or foot down, and let's just rise back up. And then exhale, bring hands to the hips. Pivot that right foot towards the long edge. And maybe you just kind of sway back and forth. Nice, guys. So now we're going to do it on the other side. So move the block to the strap side. So mine's going to be that left foot. So get the strap on the left foot. Feet are maybe hip distance apart. Grounding into the right foot. Pull up on that strap, bring the knee to a bend, and then extend out in front. So that's where we start. And then hand to big toe. And always have a wall for support. And then when you're ready, open that leg out to the side. And then bring the right arm out, so we're kind of counterbalancing. Now we're going to kind of bend that right leg as we bring that left foot to the floor. So it's like we're setting up for that cartwheel. Left foot comes down, ground the left foot, let go of the strap, the left hand comes to the block, reach that right foot up, the right arm reaches the sky. Extending through the right foot. And now bend that left knee. The right foot comes down. And from here, maybe you grab that strap, rising up. Shimmy that right foot to the correct spot, bend the knee, and then lift that left leg up. Here's our half moon in a different perspective. Try it again on your own pace. Bending whatever limb, leaning into whichever limb, grounding, letting go, finding support, lifting off. And when you're ready, bend that knee, lower that right foot, ground it, arms come out. Pivot the left foot to the long edge, hands come to the hips. Maybe you find stillness and close the eyes and soften the gaze. Maybe you hula hoop the hips. Maybe you find mountain pose. And now from wherever you are, let's meet at the front of our mat, collectively meeting in our Tadasana. Bringing hands to heart. Inviting in that perspective. It might just be a little different. Let's inhale, bring hands to the sky, reaching through the hands. Come onto the balls of the feet, a little talasana, lifting heels off the ground. Maybe from here, we bend the knees and sit in chair just because we can. Hands can come to the heart, reach above the head or out to the side. And then we'll lower the heels as we fold forward into Uttanasana. Inhale to step it back to plank pose. Extending through the heels, crown of the head, reaching forward, hips lift, press the earth away, breathe in. Exhale, lower down those knees, drop the hips to one side, roll onto the sits bones. Feet come to the floor, fingertips point towards the glutes. Let's float the arms up, straighten that spine, heart shines forward, rock it back, find your Navasana. Let's breathe in and out. Let's lower down those heels, lower those hands behind the hips, press up into tabletop, or maybe you lower the back down and find a bridge, driving those glutes towards the hips, hips to the sky, or that head back. Breathe in. Now exhale, lower down the glutes. Let's extend those legs long. You know what? Just leave a little bend so we can come onto our backs with a little less effort, lowering down. Now from here, you can extend those legs long. Maybe you flop the feet back and forth. And now let's bring our hands underneath those glutes to set up for our fish pose. Elbows, forearms down, hands underneath those glutes. Now remember, we press those elbows into the floor. Feel the chest rise, slide the back of the head across the floor. The crown of the head maybe comes down. We just glance towards the front of the mat. Coming into as deep as a fish pose as you'd like. The crown of the head can be down, just the back of the head. This fresh perspective. Exhale to press the elbows in a little more, and then slide the back of the head on the mat. And that back is flat. Release those arms from underneath the body. Pause here. If you'd like, you can come into a happy baby. Maybe a little Apanasana. Maybe legs up the wall. If there's anything that's just going to sweeten up your practice today, just offer that to yourself. And dropping into Shavasana whenever feels just right for you. Maybe you soften the space between the hips, below the navel, between those hips. Soften that space behind the ears, along the sides of the neck. Maybe let the fingers relax, the fingertips relax, the toes and the heels. Notice if you're squinting. If so, maybe just allow those eyelashes to rest one on top of another, just like feathers, soft, gently, softly stacking. There's no effort. That part of our practice has melted and gone behind us.
Maybe beginning to notice your surroundings, whether it be our four-legged friends hopping over us or breathing on our faces. Wiggle your toes. You wiggle your nose. Maybe just one more breath, reminding us to have that new perspectives, those fresh eyes. When my cousin was in school for architecture, her professor said that to be unfamiliar is to be familiar, because we look around to discover and notice things that maybe people that have lived there and passed by so many times don't notice. So maybe we can open up to that perspective and to that kind of newness and discovery around us, within us. In your own time, you can find a seated position or remain in Shavasana for as long as you have time for. Maybe pressing thumb knuckles against the chest, our hands in prayer, feeling the beating of our hearts inside of us. Just breathe in, breathe out. Another breath in. Exhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Namaste.